Awesome. There we go. All right, everyone. Well, thanks. This is the last Cloudy County meeting of 2024. It's been a pretty busy year. It's like I think every single month had AI in it, I'm pretty sure. There are lots of other things that changed all at the same time. And sometimes we do like a year, end of year recap, but we're going to do something kind of like that. We're going to give you some big updates and news from a big conference. But this is Cloudy County, which is a land grant themed community designed specifically for folks who are affiliated with Extension and land grant in general, who want to learn about modern work digital tools. So our goal is always to teach you something new, uh, hopefully improve a workflow or a process or make something easier. And Joe and I are pretty real dudes, and we understand that if we can't prove that something's going to make your life easier, there's not really any reason for you to go use it. So we try to bring actual stuff that we feel like will improve a process or make your life a little bit easier. I'm Dwayne. I'm a cloud solution architect at Microsoft. Spent a really long time working down in Florida in ag, and my buddy Joe here is we're both Florida man at this point, honorary Florida man for Joe. But Joe, you're an MVP still, right? You got
I'm still
renewed.
an MVP, correct, for
Nice.
Microsoft 365 services and apps and Teams. So,
Cool.
yeah, I'll get us started off. Like you said, this is going to be, we'll have some what's new, some things that we're hitting just as this annual Microsoft Ignite conference happened in December, a big time for a bunch of stuff to be released. Some of this will be information that is available to you now, should be available, maybe just rolling out to some of you. And some of it will be what's coming. So we'll cover some of that.
For those who don't know, Ignite is a Microsoft conference where Microsoft announces new technologies and upcoming things. And like Joe was just saying, some of it is available relatively quickly. Other things might be 6 months, 8 months out, like just kind of future stuff. But knowing that it's coming is a good thing because then you know what to expect when it does come out. And I think Joe, one of these years we did this meeting from Seattle from our phones and talked about
Yeah.
Teams Mobile, and we were at Ignite in person and did the entire Cloudy County call from our cell phones.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I think we had a third person there who was
Yeah,
doing the pan
Jimmy
around.
was our
Jimmy was around there panning
cameraman.
around. Yeah, so it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get us kicked off with something that's going to be, we'd say, pretty nerdy. But if you have um, a lot of data that you need to analyze, or you know someone who is into a lot of data, research data, maybe you are collecting information from citizens, survey data, that kind of stuff. Um, Microsoft has been for a while now bringing into probably one of the best data analysis tools that's heavily used called Python. It's a programming language, um, integrating it right into Excel. So people love to put their data in Excel, and Python loves data. So they've kind of merged those two together in a really smart way. Makes it very easy to work with Python and data that's in Excel. Um, and this is now generally available in the business and enterprise space. And it is kind of available to us in education. It is in preview right now. I'll give you some stuff that you can use if you want to talk to an IT person. If you want to get into the early version, ask them if it's okay to get into the early version of Office. I have some people in some research labs who I've moved into it's called Current Channel Preview of the Office desktop, that enables you to have access to this in an education a little early before it rolls out fully out to everyone in education. What does it look like? It's just real briefly give you an idea how this would integrate. I've got a simple Excel file here, land grant. institutions. I've got just an analysis sheet here, and I am looking at a Python cell, Python code, and expand this field. Right here, I am asking basically the state, which is my sheet here, to just give me a basic description of it. So I asked to basically describe this sheet. And it's going to give me the count of the number of rows, how many are unique. Alabama has the most institutions. There's 7 of those. Just simple to do, Python. This is a way to do some grouping. It's Python. Again, I'm not a Python person. This would be just maybe helpful to people who are, and how to start working with your data inside of Python. It's if you've got Python going, it'll =, py, and you're putting yourself into Python mode and can start editing these Python code, you could say. I'm just going to drop a little bit of information about how do you do Python, how to use that in different ways, some training information about it, and how to basically flip a computer system over to what you would, how you'd get into the preview mode in order to see that. Again, that might be some nice data analytics capabilities that are built in there. Take advantage of. Be curious to see a show of hands. I wonder if anyone is using new Outlook right now. But a feature that has been rolling out is a different way to respond to meeting requests that have you've been placed onto. How many of you get double booked? Not uncommon to get double booked, and maybe you really want to be in both of those. Maybe you want to participate in those. You got to pick one. What I've done here is I have sent an invite. Let's see, I've sent an invite to a few people here. One of those people that received that invite is this account. I'm looking at that invite that has come over, and I've got this new option here, which is follow. Let the organizer know you won't attend, but want to receive information about the meeting. When you choose that option, the organizer, the person running this meeting, when they launch that meeting, they get a pop-up that says, hey, someone's following this. Maybe it would be great if you could record it. So it gives them a reminder that says there's people who are interested in this but couldn't make it. I'll give you a screenshot of what that looks like, and give you an idea of on the receiving end of someone who's chosen to follow that.
We're in a world now where meeting artifacts are a big deal. So transcriptions, chats, recordings, files that were shared, Teams meetings can generate all these little extra bits and pieces of information. And Teams Premium offering the ability to generate like a recap of a meeting really quickly. The follow is a signal that you're sending that's like, hey, I'm not going to be there, but my intention is to go check the recap or, summarize the meeting in some way, letting the meeting organizer know that you want to do that. So yeah, we're seeing a whole lot more meeting transcriptions being generated and recordings being generated because of this. And this is a good way to communicate. It's definitely a more modern way of communicating. And so like, you don't see this in Outlook Classic yet. It is in Outlook on the web, and it's in New Outlook, 2 different places. And there's less and less reasons now not to use New Outlook. I'll just say, I'm gonna go on record. I'm being recorded right now saying there's less reasons not to use New Outlook.
I'm 2+ years surviving on New Outlook at this point.
Surviving.
So I've been pretty vocal about the early days, but at least the last year it's been like 0 problems. I think it's been pretty great. What I'm curious about is, I don't know if you've been on the end of following something, Dwayne. Have you followed something? I haven't had the opportunity to follow something, but I think if you follow, you get maybe a notification like, hey, there's that meeting ended, and it's not an intelligent recap, but I think you get some type of recap. I don't know if you've seen that
There's
side,
a
or you get some type of,
notification. Yeah, there's a notification now that's generated when a recap of a meeting is ready. When you hang up from a call like this call that we're on right now, the recap takes a little bit of time to generate. Like it's got to go to the cloud and get processed, and all these moving pieces and parts and gerbils and whatever are doing their thing. So they added in Teams a notification to let you know, hey, your recap is ready. So yeah, you can get that kind of notification, and then when you click it, it will just take you straight to the recap. Now, if the recap is an intelligent recap or not, that depends on if you have a Teams Premium license or Copilot license to get that
okay.
AI recap.
Yep, great. I think that covered our question there. Yep.
Yeah.
So the thing that is interesting to see is, in this, I'm in New Outlook, is the ability to look at your list of tracking. So let's say you've got 30 people you've asked to come to this meeting, and you're struggling. Maybe you've got 10 stragglers who haven't responded yet. As long as the meeting, I think, has at least 3 people on it, there is this little 3 dots here that I can pick up, a little more menu that gives me some options around. So I can resort these attendees, but a couple of these features are kind of nice, which is copy attendee names. So if I copy attendee names, and I'm just going to go over to, let's pick a sheet here. I'm going to get out of mode here, edit mode. I'm going to get a list of all those people's email addresses. And what's nice about this format is this is something I could maybe paste right into an email, right into the to line of an email or a CC, and just blast something back out to everybody that you invited previously in this meeting. So maybe you want to give them some information about the meeting, but not go through the process of editing and updating the calendar invite. Things like that might be a reason to do that. Another thing we can do is, under these 3 dots here, is we also copy all tracking information. So this might be helpful. Again, if you've got a number of people and you're waiting for you need them to respond, you really need to know if they're going to show up or not. Now we've got the information in this format where I could do something where I could filter this, just showing the people who haven't responded yet. And I could, again, I'm going to have this easy to grab list that I could copy and paste right into an Outlook message, and follow up those people who haven't responded yet. Just one way to ping them. And just to finish that, you can see that even download the entire list there back as a CSV if you want to go through that. I'll drop a couple things about that into the chat. There's one on the following, and the ability to copy and print that information about who the attendees are there. This is it's kind of interesting. We've done recently one of our sessions on Clipchamp. Clipchamp is the video editor that's built into our suite of tools now. So we've got Microsoft Stream that has been around for quite a while, that I think most would think of as the player, the video player. It also presents you the ability to turn on transcripts, closed captioning, things like that as a video player. Those features and options, Microsoft is starting to merge those together. And I'm just going to drop into chat here the future of video. What really I'm seeing with that is if it started is what I think I've been able to see here. So if I go to our home and let's pick where's Clipchamp? If you go to Clipchamp or Stream from your app launcher, you're going to end up basically looking at the same page. And here they're starting to tell you that, hey, these are starting to come together. It's interesting. Stream takes you to a slightly different URL, Microsoft365.com, and Clipchamp takes you to office.com. So a little bit of merging there to do. I don't know what the final URL is going to be. But if you count the number of times Stream ends up on this page, I think it's like 9, and Clipchamp ends up like almost 30. So I don't know. Maybe we're heading towards Clipchamp becoming the word when we're talking about video in Microsoft space. Another thing that's been released now is the planner. Planner for the web has caught up now with what we had in Teams. So Teams got the new planner interface kind of first. And see here, that's that one. Now we've got it in the web, same, getting the same interface. Something to I want to call out is some of the menu items have kind of changed around, where we used to look for items like exporting the plan, copying the plan. I think those were hidden under like 3 dots, typical 3-dot menu somewhere. Now we're finding them up under the plan name. So that's where we can find those. So we can still copy this plan. We can still export it to Excel. Just it's going to be a little bit different place to search for that. And while I'm in here, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to talk about the calendar thing real quick. One thing that is missing for the moment is the ability to create an iCal link that represents your schedule of the plan that you can import into Outlook. However, I'm going to split hairs with everyone here, and we've kind of talked about this before. What Joe is looking at right now is not a calendar. It's a schedule. It even says schedule up at the top. We used to get requests all the time of, I need a group calendar. Well, for what? So that I can see when people are on vacation. What do you need? Like a pop-up reminding you that Joe is on vacation starting at 8 a.m. on a Monday? Or do you just need to look at some sort of board that says Joe's going to be out this day through this day? Because one of those is a calendar, the other one is a schedule. So the option to import the planner schedule into Outlook so that you can see it in Outlook is not there yet for the new planner app. However, I mean, I'm not super upset about it because, like I said, I feel like it gets confusing. A lot of people start to treat it like a calendar, and it's not. It's a schedule. So, I even asked AI one time, like, "Hey, fact check me here. Do I understand this correctly? There's a difference between a calendar and a schedule." And it was like, "Yeah, you're right." So, blame AI if I'm wrong.
And sometimes I've seen, if you fill in all the data, a start date and like a due date, it doesn't, like, everything is the schedule and the calendar view. It doesn't, to me, it didn't look helpful. It was
there's no time.
Yeah,
like you can't say like, this task is going to start at this time and end at this time. Like a meeting, so everything starts at a time and ends at a time.
Yeah, everything's full day. Anyways, it gets difficult to, if you've got overlapping tasks that are a start and end date that overlap a couple of weeks, you start looking at a calendar view, it's hard to read, actually. So, well, that's what we've got for that. Actually, while I'm in here, just want to reemphasize, if you haven't poked in here a while, some really great templates in here to get started. They're really thoughtful around, getting started with employee onboarding. That seems to be a pretty popular process to help enhance at universities. Project management. So these are going to set up some default boards for you, columns, categories, things like that. So definitely take a look at those type of options that are available to us. Let's see, going to jump into, so this has been released now. I've seen it come across a number of our education tenants. This is Microsoft Places. Only part of it, well, I should say it's all there. All of our A1, A3, A5s get some core pieces of Microsoft Places. But there's, I would say, two pieces to Places. There's something related around people, and then there's another piece that's related around buildings and office space. I think this tool is definitely designed for enterprises. Sometimes we have to figure out how might they fit in education, and the ability to Microsoft Places is helpful for hybrid work for sure, or hot desking, where maybe you've got a bunch of office spaces, office desks, and you don't really have an office. You just need a desk sometimes. The ability to fully take advantage of this tool, I think in EDU space might be my take is it's probably going to be a bit limited. There's issues around privacy, knowing where people are at, some things like that is my first take on it. But you can build out bring in floor plans for entire buildings, and be able to tell if you took this to this fullest potential, like a room is empty, I want to go use that conference room. I can tell that it's actually empty and go book it through these kind of tools. I know we have some spaces that are designed at my university for students to kind of walk up and take advantage of the space, either a room or desks or collaboration spaces. Something like that, could be kind of cool to take advantage of that. But that's a lot of things that you got to build out. You need floor plans, you need to put them in a certain format. But I'm going to show just this short little video to give you a full idea of what this is going to look like here.
Should there be sound?
There should be. I know I don't have any sound here, so maybe this one doesn't have sound.
Was it muted?
It's not. It's not muted.
Okay.
And I don't know if there's any. Yeah, I don't think this one had any audio. It was more around just taking a look at some of these options here. We can do in-person events now.
Well, check out what it's doing there. Looking for a room for you.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? Like, hey, what room would be available for this many people who all want to meet in person?
Mm-hmm.
And there's other stuff that's kind of interesting too, is you'll be able to, like, if you're on campus and Joe's in building 5 and I'm in building 4 and I work with Joe a lot, there's going to be present. There you go. See, they beat me to it. Where you could say like, oh, hey, I see Joe's over in building 4. Let me walk over there and we'll hang out and get some lunch or something. So
yeah, this is all a bunch of definitely a bunch of analytics that might be interesting to people who are running the buildings, but
facilities management and stuff. Yeah.
Like this is the one that has a neighborhood. You can kind of figure out who's nearby, and even mention a chat who's nearby, and participate in that. If we go back to, we'll show that idea. So this is something you can do now too, is specify your work schedule. Likely some of us are hybrid. We're in the office 3 times a week, and to home. You can specify that using this tool, what your schedule is. And in this case, you will see people on your team So the goal here is maybe if you're a manager, maybe you can pick and see a day where majority of your staff are going to be in, next week, and just say that's when we're going to have a team meeting, um, and specify it's going to be in person. That might give people who are hybrid maybe a chance to swap their schedules around, if they want to come in, help bring people kind of together and stay connected. Some capabilities there like that. Um, so there's a Teams app, and in Teams for Places, and there is a website for Teams. Let's pull up Places on the web. So initially, this is where you have to build out a bunch of buildings and do a lot of work. That is something that you would have some facilities folks and that kind of stuff would have to dive into that. But under people is something that you have access to now. You can create a work group. So I've created a work group here of individuals that I know I'm working with closely all the time. And I'm going to see their schedule. I can see how many are in the office on a certain day. And I can go in here and do something called guidance, which is basically, you know what, on this day in the future, I can see there's a number of my folks going to be in person. Let's pick we're going to grab a coffee walk and talk about projects. And this will notify everyone that's in your group, hey, this is a planned event in person. It's location aligned. Most of the majority of the people are going to be at that location that's been chosen, which would be in the office, and notify them. So yeah, I can come up here and choose your schedule when you're going to be office, remote, out of the office, those kind of things. If you want to help stay connected to the people you work with, this tool I think is going to be able to do that if you currently are hybrid. But you just probably going to have to get everybody to use it and manage to take advantage of this tool. But I think Dwayne, you dropped a few things in there about that. Great. And I've got, I think one of these I'm going to drop in here. The Learn will give you an idea of what you get with the core places, and what you would get on the premium. The next thing we're going to talk about is pages. And I don't know, Dwayne, do you want to run Copilot, the pages process?
Sure.
And I love talking about it because it talks about multiplayer. and,
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because it's powered by one of our favorite applications called Microsoft Loop. We've talked about Loop on the community calls before, so if you have no idea what I'm talking about, go back to the recording and take a peek. But Microsoft Loop is this new collaborative canvas that you can create pages and items on it, and you can really, really quickly get up, working with people and get ideas, put on paper. However, a new way to generate lots of ideas is Copilot itself. Now, there's two options now for Copilot. There's the free one, which Joe's looking at right now. He's on the web side. And then there's the paid one, which has access to your work information. You can get a whole lot done with the web one. I use it a lot. So don't feel like you're being held back. If you just have web, that's okay. You still have access to AI. You still have enterprise protection. And now you have pages. And so the idea here is not even so much the multiplayer part, but the fact that every time you generate something with AI, you end up probably putting that information somewhere, right? If you asked AI to generate an essay for you, are you going to leave the text that it created in Copilot? I mean, no, you're going to copy it out and you're going to put it somewhere, right? Well, maybe you've got there's a process called iteration. I'm asking Copilot several things, like I'm building on something. Well, you can now take that information and you can move it over into what is called Copilot pages. Joe, your button's missing. Where's your button at?
Yeah, it is. Let's try that. Let's try it again. It is missing in this one. So let's switch.
Don't use it in Teams. Go to office.com/chat.
Yeah, that's what I'm here too. So
You're in Teams. Go to office.com/chat.
want me to go to chat? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you're in web Teams now. Office.com/chat is my favorite entry point because it's easy to say and it's easy to remember. And you can get to it relatively quickly. So I think you did on your website, you made, what was that, top 10 points about, I don't know, Star Trek or something? What'd you do?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's just pick one of these.
Go
let's
to
go
web real
web.
quick.
Web.
Yeah.
There we go.
And there it's in your history. Compare 10 of the most innovative some or others. Still missing. What in the heck, Joe? Leave it to Joe.
I'm going to start a new one over here. I'll start a new one over here. Let's do this one.
All right, Joe.
We've broken.
Taking over. Taking
I
over.
can.
Sorry, buddy. Okay. So I just asked Copilot to do something really basic. I said, generate some code for me because I'm a geek and I want you to do something. This is just an example. You're going to see this new button here called Edit in Pages. When I click this, it's going to take all the information that was generated and it's going to split my screen in half and it's going to move the stuff over from the left to the right. I mean, it's going to stay on the left, but you'll see what I mean. So, hey, check that out. And check out what it did. It actually recognized like, oh, hey, this is a code block, not just random text. It's a code block, but now I can actually edit this. I can start changing this. I can add my own stuff and I can follow up over here on the left and I can say, can you add error detection? Whoops. Error detection and make this a function. I'm just talking to AI just like it's my buddy. So I said, hey, add this, add some error detection, make it a function. I get edit in pages. If I click it, it's going to move it over from left to right. And so now I have the term that I've heard used is this durable canvas where I can continue to iterate on the left, selectively take the things that I want, move them over to the right, and edit. So now I can actually go in here and say version 2 of my script. I can leave that kind of stuff. I can use, because this is loop, I can hit / and I can insert more things. Also, I have a share button up here at the top. So I can share this. I can say I want to give a link to a colleague. So I'm going to share this with, I guess, people I choose. I'm going to share this with Dakota. And I want to give her edit access. So this whole menu I'm going through is just like any other normal file sharing menu where you got to pick who you share with, choose what kind of access they have. Do you want it to expire? Those are all normal things that you should see when you share files in like OneDrive and Teams and SharePoint. So I'm going to apply that. I'm going to message this to Dakota. So Dakota, whoops. If I send this to her, generate PowerShell script.loop. And in a whole nother screen, I'm going to try to open that up real fast. Joe threw me a curveball. So I'm trying to ad hoc demo real quick. It's okay, Joe. I still love you.
I just got to switch to a different tenant and I have pages. No worries. So.
Oh, hey, check it out. So now I see Dakota. Hey, Dakota has this open. So now Dakota's in this thing with me at the same time that I'm now taking ideas the AI is helping me create, moving them into a page. She's going to see that kind of happen live, and she can add her own thoughts and opinions. Uh, if she had a Copilot license, and we're kind of getting in the weeds a little bit, she could use Copilot to have it start, drafting stuff. And so you can actually see now uh, Dakota's collaborating using Copilot, so she's generating ideas. That requires a Copilot license to be able to do. But just asking AI a question, moving it from AI over to Pages and sharing it with a colleague, all of you can do that without any kind of licensing. That's already there. I shouldn't say it's all already there because you saw Joe, it wasn't there for Joe. So it's like relatively new. So if you don't see it yet, just hang tight. It's kind of rolling out. But this is really cool. This is the multiplayer part that Joe said is this part right here. Like I can bring in my friends to benefit from the stuff I've generated with AI and show it to them and then think on it and iterate, edit, tweak it, and ultimately it might turn into a Word document or a PDF or a PowerShell script or whatever I want it to be.
Right.
All right, Joe, you're back up.
Great. All right. So those are things that I guess maybe we should say are released or almost released, rolling out, and should see those things. Going to talk about
the thing I just showed is not like some super fancy internal Microsoft only environment. Like that's a public environment. So yeah, you'll definitely see it in the wild for sure.
So this is a little more talking about some things that are coming. Some of these are released. One of these we're going to hopefully, I think, have a chance to quickly show. Agentic, is that the right word, Dwayne? I'm hearing.
Yep.
Agents. You want AI to be helpful. Do some, I don't know, some tasks that could be, I don't know, maybe some mundane tasks that you could be doing something else, or maybe some tasks that even better that take up a lot of your time. So there's two ways to think about how to take advantage of AI, and Microsoft is rolling out these agents. There are agents that are going to be in Teams, in Project, Planner. They're bringing out these tools, and let's take a quick look at these.
New agents in Microsoft 365 are transforming how humans and AI collaborate. Meet agents in SharePoint, which unlock high-value insights that are connected to your organization's documents. Created with just a few clicks, these agents enhance knowledge sharing. They can be customized with additional data sources in Copilot Studio and can be shared anywhere like a Teams chat. Next is the Facilitator Agent, joining meetings to manage tasks like the agenda, real-time notes, and action items, allowing the team to stay focused on the discussion. And the Facilitator Agent can also streamline communication in chats by providing real-time summaries and responding to questions so the team can focus on what matters. With the new Interpreter Agent, language barriers are a thing of the past, enabling real-time speech interpretation so everyone can speak and listen in different languages.
Thoughts from marketing about the upcoming campaign. If we get a game plan, we can aim to 내놓는 것을 목표로 할 수 있을 겁니다.
And the Project Manager Agent creates project plans, assigns tasks, and even completes them on behalf of the team, keeping everyone informed and collaborating effectively. Finally, for specialized business processes in HR and IT, the new Employee Self-Service Agent in Copilot Business Chat enables employees to get instant answers and take action, such as logging a help desk ticket. And it can be customized in Copilot Studio using pre-built workflows and more. New agents in Microsoft 365.
What I liked is the increased use of Loop, catching that in a few places where live meeting notes look like they're going straight into Loop with this facilitator tool. The one that I want to talk about real quick that next few minutes here we've got left is the one for SharePoint agent. That one is something that we have released if you have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license. You can take advantage of. We saw that briefly. I've got a recreated one, and I'll show how quickly we can create another one. But I've got a folder here. This is a bunch of HR documents, PDFs around business processes at a university. I found one that I could easily download a bunch of PDFs from, and I've created an agent for this. So I'm in favorite place to store files, SharePoint. I've got a folder set up of that information. And under my Copilot icon, looking at this, I've got an agent here. I've called it Rue. And I can ask this agent questions that are going to be, the responses are going to come from the files that are in that folder. I made an agent just for the files that are in that folder. So I could ask it something, let's ask it about visas. It's going to search for those documents, give me some information, and my references is going to show me the references of those PDFs that are in that file. I know extension agents produce tons of PDFs for their citizens. If maybe this would be a great place where you've got all that captured, all those files captured, and you've got conceptually something that you need to do some research against and pull out the best documents for your the citizens, people that you need to provide that information to. This might be a great way to do some research about those documents, grab the ones you want, share them out, that kind of stuff.
I've worked with agents before that have talked about fact sheets. They're like, oh yeah, there's a fact sheet somewhere that talks about how to fight that bug or do that one process. And now you're hunting for it, trying to find it. You can just ask AI the question, get the full answer, and it will reference the right fact sheet, giving you a link to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
Very, very cool. How do you do this? If you have the license, I've got another folder here that's filled with basically some fact sheet looking like documents of just recipes. And I can come into this tool. Let's just kind of close this stuff up. I've got create an agent right here. So I'm going to create an agent based upon the documents that are in this folder. My agent's ready, and I'm done. Now I've got an AI agent. That's all it took. I can come back and do some other things around it. I could rename this, edit it, give it a little icon, some things like that. But that's amazing.
You can even publish it and push with some of your colleagues and invoke it in the group chat. So if you've got a group chat of fact sheets with a bunch of your coworkers, you could just, someone asks a question about like, hey, how do we grow strawberries? You could mention the agent and say, hey, fact sheet bot, how do we grow strawberries? And it would just dump the answer in the group chat with all your friends.
Yeah. So it's already able to reference 2 documents. I asked it for, a nice chicken recipe for dinner and a complimentary fruit-based dessert. And it pulled out a couple of those documents for me. Gives me a little overview of those, about them. Just something, again, the quickness of this to start taking advantage of this tool is pretty amazing. You get a couple little new document types that show up here, .agent files, and those then become referenceable in your list here that you pull up with the Copilot icon if you have that license. So I think we're at time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've got something else to comment there.
I'll just add that the amount of stuff, excuse me, the amount of stuff that you probably have access to in Microsoft 365, like all the teams you're in, all the OneDrives that have been shared with you, all the SharePoint sites, there's an overwhelming amount of knowledge. and agents allow you the opportunity to build a chatbot experience that is scoped to a specific data set. And that's huge. There's more stuff coming. I'll take a second for a shameless plug. I do another call. I like alliteration. So we've got Cloudy County. We also have another one called Club Copilot. And just yesterday was the Club Copilot call once a month. Yes, one more meeting to add to your calendar. But we demoed agents and showed it. And some of the future stuff that's coming with the ability to have agents perform actions. You know, a customer emails you with a question, you can have an agent take their question, feed it to a bot, generate an answer, and reply. I mean, yes, yeah. Less email, yes, please sign me up. So stuff like that is kind of the where this is headed. But right now, there's a ton of value in being able to create a chat bot grounded in a specific data set, so that when you ask it a question, you know there's no possibility of it misunderstanding or accessing an old document or something to that effect. So I know we're at time. Joe and I aren't going anywhere, though. We'll stay on the call for a little bit longer, but we will kill the recording. And if you have any questions or you want to see some more stuff, this will be your opportunity. But if you're leaving us, we appreciate you hanging out with us for 2024. And we'll see you again in 2025. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah. Happy holidays. Thank you.